Hello, Hannah. Soul Dr. Nick here. And it's about 5 a.m. in the morning here in Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada, on January 23rd, 2025, fifth day of daily musings. And a reminder for anyone listening, this is going to be a little bit rambling all over the place. It's not designed for you. It's designed for me and my own accountability, creating 12 days of content this way and actually publishing it. And there'll be more focused, dedicated things. And today I was contemplating, what is the bigger theme? And it's the school of unlearning. And am I willing to realize there's a school of unlearning and go to it and keep drawing from that wellspring? And this idea comes from many places, but my beloved's placed on the wall a page from the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. And the boy's asking, is there a school of unlearning? And I'm recognizing it more and more as I work with myself and work with my clients, the patterns that we have, the lessons that we have, the things that we think are just so and they're not. And it's not that there's not a grain of truth to it. It's more, is it serving me right now to hold on so firmly, so tightly to this belief? Whether it's I, show my value and worth by saying yes to everybody and doing everything that I can and running myself dry all the time. Or that the Western way of medicine is the only way of medicine. It's materialistic. It is all biochemical. And, if it isn't for a randomized controlled trial, then it doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything. And so my own thought experiment today, just earlier, was like, what if even for a moment I unlearned gravity, the idea of gravity? I was like, well, it doesn't mean that gravity no longer exists. It just means I've unlearned the idea of it. And if I can unlearn it for a moment to see what's possible there. And I think that's more and more, how do I play in safe spaces? That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm inviting people to come to a school of unlearning at times, guided to see something different. And in that guidance to seeing something different is to keep remembering it's not about seeing something different and agreeing with me, Nick, or the other guides, rather having us help point to things outside of normal patterning and then seeing what arises, because we're learning both ways. That's part of what I had to unlearn. That transference to the idea of going back and forth with the client is bad, like universally bad. It doesn't mean that there isn't a grain of truth to it. If it's too much, if we lose sight of who's the student and teacher in those moments, then it can actually get scary, right? It's like having a 5-year-old in kindergarten saying all of a sudden they're like, I am now going to take over the class. And what's true is they're often teaching without realizing they're teaching. They're teaching the teachers and other kids. And I love it when my little one says, listen to my story, I'm the teacher now. It's wonderful. And in this school of unlearning and learning these patterns, part of it is recognizing that the life that I'm currently living is a reflection of my values and my patterns. And if I am 100% happy with everything going on exactly the way it is, fantastic. And it doesn't mean I want everything all positive. That was part of me before, really, on the power of positivity, happiness, one-sidedness. Now I can recognize the ebbs and the flows better. And the wisdom is returning myself back to that centered state that I want to be in, and recognizing even the center can keep shifting. And it has shifted my whole life. In the depths and the throes of my depression, my center was very different than right now. And right now, sometimes I'm like comparing myself to the fantasy of who I want to be and who I have been for moments, going, oh, I feel transcendent. And then recognizing, do I really want to be there all the time, or be with the reality of the world, especially when it comes to family? And that was it yesterday. I was having such a challenging time. I had hours to myself, and I was tired, so I rested and meditated. And when I got up, I was fuzzy and not sure what to do and how to do things. And then when my family and I got together for dinner and beyond, I was able to be myself, and I realized I'm so grateful I can be myself with my family today. I would rather have this time be so present than the time just to myself, and then be kind of miserable when I'm with them, because it's such a gift to have this time together. And I got to do bedtime routine and be with my little man and remember, wow, how often do I get to do this? Things are going to change, and I get to keep creating all these anchor memories, these moments. And more than the anchor memory is just being present with the moment as it is. And right now, getting up this morning, part of me didn't want to get up. And it's like, no, get up, be with yourself, be with the video, and then you can go rest again. Because this is the work. It's creating something new. It's creating something different. It's creating different habits. And being prolific at something I actually want to do. I'm excited to keep looking at what insights want to pop up, what wants to be shared, how to share it, and actually just putting it out there, just recording it without trying to modulate and fix it. And then we can go back to what's going on currently, because this is for me as well. It's like, looking at completely changing my diet. Oh yes, today is the first day I shifted from coffee enema to now a chlorophyll enema. And I'm doing that because I'm going to be doing a naturopathic diet and cleanse with a lovely soul named Darin. And she's guiding me towards a different layer of creating energy and vitality and resilience in this body. And I knew it was time because as much as I love being able to wake up early and do this, I know that my energy levels are not meeting where I want them to be for the life I plan on living in the next year or two, with the different kinds of travel, with work, with being with family, with resetting, with coming back to groundedness. And so it's like, how do I take the time now while I have a little bit of a lull in the winter to actually step into what wants to appear? And so I'll be changing my diet. I was actually looking at juicers yesterday. I'll be changing my habits. I'll be changing my gut flora. I'll be tracking this in terms of the energy levels and trusting that I'm both being guided by, learning from, and learning to listen to myself better. And so for 2 months, probably, starting pretty soon, it will be either not going out to eat or having what I need for myself while we go out. And there's excitement and fear because food is a big part of things. Food is a big part of my beloved's value system. And how do we actually do this without losing sight of what's important to us and without losing sight of me having discipline, and it is discipline right now, and devotion to really trust myself, to not just try to please, because that's part of it. For family, what I realized part of the gift of is that I love them so much I want to please them. And my current state of relationship with family outside of my own beloved and son sometimes can be challenging, and sometimes I create space. And I realize it's a gift too, because otherwise I'd be trying to people please so many people before I really get clear on who I am. And so there's seasons of even relationship with family. And finally this morning, just reminding myself to be patient, to play with gratitude, to play with affirmations. Today's gonna be a wunderbar day. To remind myself that I get so much energy from serving. I had a phone call with another soul, James, and just learning about each other. And I was like, I got energized from that. Cause these conversations really get me going. And how do I create more of that? And how do I notice when I feel like I have to do things that are not creating that? And part of it is for me to start shifting the way I look at it. And part of it for me is to ask for the help so that I'm doing less of that right now. All right. Lots of love. Ciao for now.